di Londra. Discussiamo di commentarla.
Well, good afternoon from Mexico City, from this beautiful stadium, for the first ever World Cup Finals appearance of El Salvador, the team down there in white. El Salvador, the shock qualifiers, the unknown team from the tiny Central American Republic of only 3 million people. El Salvador today facing the Belgians. Belgians in the red, for those in black and white, only black and white, no colour. Belgium in the darker strip altogether. Belgium, the team fancied by many people here to be the dark horses of the entire tournament. Well, this match is scheduled on paper to be a little icing on the meaty fruitcake of the World Cup, because on form it should be Belgium all the way by several goals, but the World Cup history has got one or two instances of shock results, like Korea beating Italy in 1966, and like England losing to the United States 20 years ago. So El Salvador have got some sort of hope. But for this team from El Salvador, a 2-0 here is almost enough. Remember last year, after one of their matches against Honduras, their rivals and neighbours, war broke out between these two countries. 3,000 people were killed. Some of those Salvador players down there were involved in the fighting, and all of them were affected by it. So to be here today is a great day for them. Belgium, of course, are on a hiding to nothing today. They are expected to win. They must win if they are to qualify instead of either Mexico or Russia from Group 1. there you see the Belgian team. They've had a problem in their acclimatization here. Jack, one of their leading back defenders, hasn't made it. Hasn't through the double H problem here. Heat and altitude, heat and height, and Jack is out. So Dox has moved back into the back four. Number 6, Dox, has moved back. Puy will play in midfield, and Lambert, number 18, has come into the side. Lambert, who wasn't fancied to have a chance of playing in the actual team when they arrived here, he's acclimatized well and has made the team. And that is one of the factors here. Some players arrive with smaller reputations, but they're acclimatized better, and so they're in. The Salvador side, they had one worry this morning. Quintanilla there, number 6, their centre-back, had a sore throat, but he's come through, and little El Salvador are at full strength. Romania, he replaces Drago Horvat of Yugoslavia, who was injured. Even the referees get injured in the World Cup before the big matches start. But in the red for those with colour televisions and in the dark for those that haven't, Belgium going to play right to left and kicking off their opening World Cup finals match for both of these teams. El Salvador in the all-white. El Salvador only 2,000 miles away from Mexico, and that's not a big distance in this continent where distances are so much bigger than they are at home, and there are a lot of El Salvador supporters who make the trip. Hundreds of them here in this magnificent stadium. Johan de Vrij starts the match for Belgium, and that's Van Hips on the ball. Belgium's most famous player to Van Moor, probably Belgium's second most famous player. Keep an eye on those two numbers, 10 and 8. And Semmeling, good ball down there, aimed de Vrij, but played into touch. Throw in to be taken by Semmeling. Now he's going to give it to Lambert. Obviously the long throw merchant. Headed away there by Osorio. Van Moor again, good ball to Semmeling. It's on here, being get past Mariota. Very off down there indeed. And a great roar of relief from the hundreds of El Salvador fans here and the many thousands of Mexicans who want to see Salvador do well. And the referee being booed for awarding the corner, but he was definitely correct. Semmeling with the corner for Belgium. Van Moor getting the header in there. Van Hips. Lambert rather, Lambert. Very good save by Magana. Of course, Elroy thread an early goal against them. They know that if once Belgium get in front, it could open the floodgates. Osorio. Quintanilla. Quintanilla again. Goodbye, Rivas. That's Rivas. Methodical football. That's Rodriguez, number 7 there, but robbed. Nicely robbed by Dox. Dupuis. Well, Dubrint rather gave that one away. Manzano to Flamenco. Back to Manzano. Manzano running the ball out of touch, didn't give it to Aparicio there. Aparicio jumping up in front of the man trying to take the throw for Belgium. This is Van Him, Paul Van Him, the most famous footballer Belgium have had in the last decade. This is Puy. Good one for De Vrij. And a great chance there for De Vrij, headed wide. Rivas. That's the inside there. Back to Rivas. Salvador making space for themselves nicely on the flank. Martinez, the goal scorer, the man who got the goals that got El Salvador to where they never thought they'd get, which is the World Cup here in Mexico. That was no problem at all there for Dox. Whistles from the Mexican fans. They don't like teams who pass back, particularly the teams they don't want to see do well, and that here today is Belgium. Van Moor. Oh, that was very well read indeed there by Flamenco, cutting out, but Halens has it. Van Moor to Halens. Halens, who plays football in a wig and is paid £800 by a Belgian firm for doing so. And the first foul of the match there, for a foul on De Vrij. Quintanilla, the offender. Dox. Got Puy outside him, tries to find him, but it's easily cut off by Rodriguez. Thiessen. Good ball indeed to Semmeling. He's got... Oh, no, Semmeling is offside. It was in fact Van Hip, who should have known better, a man of his experience, and Semmeling certainly should have known better. It was glaringly offside. Rivas quite obviously being used as a pipeline out of defence. Rivas getting a lot of the ball. Dox. Mariano in some trouble there. De Vrij. Nicely cut out there by Martinez. Flamenco. Vasquez. There's Rodriguez. Oh, a good ball indeed there for Quintanilla if he can catch it. Cut out by Thiessen. Keep an eye on the number 7 for El Salvador. He's the boy who scored the goal that started a war against Honduras. Quintanilla with the throw for Salvador on one of the few occasions they have progressed into Belgium's half in this first 5 minutes of the match. Puy, bad ball indeed. Martinez had plenty of time to pick it up. Quintanilla. Rivas. Van Moor nicely beat Martinez there. Clever play by the little Belgian midfield general. Haaland. Fine ball indeed to... There's he showing his turn of speed that has made him one of the fastest men in Europe. This is De Vrij. And Van Hip! What a good volley that was. To keep that ball down was some accomplishment, but it was a couple of yards wide of Mangania's right-hand post.
The game is from Czechoslovakia, Brazil.
Aparicio, Martinez making space. Inside to Quintanilla. Oh, De Vrij robbing Quintanilla well there. This is Semmeling. They've got three in a group there. Van Himst. Still got De Vrij outside him. Going to switch it. Going defenders across now. Back to De Vrij. Van Moor. Oh, good infiltration, but Van Himst just offside. Very good infiltration there by Belgium. Manzano, Aparo. Flamenco. Divalka. Bad. Oh, De Vrij giving it away there. One thing you mustn't do here is give the ball away because it needs so much energy to be used up by your colleagues to get it back like that. You see Lambert had to run into trouble. Rivas, in fact, fouled him. Lambert to Puy. Short of the long one for De Vrij. The short one, a very good indeed by Puy. Great positioning by Van Himst, who at the last minute couldn't get the volley in. But great running by Van Himst into that open space. Belgium already looking dangerous. Rivas. Rodri, a long one for Rodriguez to chase. Divalk will have no trouble. Almost got himself into trouble. Goal kick to Belgium, taken by Pio. The long one for De Vrij. Manzano there. Manzano fouling Semmeling. Well, the Belgians arrived here with a reputation for tough play. They had two men sent off in their qualifying matches, but Salvador are matching them in strength in the tackle at the moment. This is Van Moor. Lambert. Well cut out there by Vasquez. Martinez beaten there by Docks. That'll be a free kick against Docks for that charge on Quintanilla. Quintanilla with a free kick. Rivas. Martinez beating his man beautifully there. Nice ball. A weak shot there by Vasquez. Very nearly caught Belgium in trouble because it was nearly blocked and transferred to a Salvador forward there. But away come Belgium. Semmeling. Got Lambert inside. He's got Van Himst inside him. Leaves it to Van Himst. Got Van Moor back. Yes, back to Van Moor. A good ball indeed for Van Himst. Osorio and Manzano there, beating Van Himst nicely, and away comes Mariona. Good ball indeed to Martinez. Back to Quintanilla. Quintanilla waiting for Manzano to come up outside him, but it's only a decoy. Martinez, well cut out there by Puy, and away comes Thiessen. Puy just caught it. Quintanilla Well, that always looked as though it was too ambitious a cross, and indeed it was, but Mangania decided to play safe at the last minute, gave away the corner. This is Van Hibst on the ball. Well cleared there by Quintanilla to Martinez. Handball there against Martinez. The crowd don't like it at all. Van Moor takes it quickly to Puy. Back to Van Moor. Lets one go, it's there! Van Moor, 35 yards after 11 minutes. And Magana, the Salvador goalkeeper, should have had that one. Here we go again. Should have had that one, but of course the ball does move so fast here. But for me, Magana should have saved that one, but all credit to Van Moor. Belgium 1, El Salvador 0 after 13 minutes. Puts Belgium just about on schedule. They need a win here. They badly need a lot of goals because this group could end up with Mexico, Russia and Belgium level on points, and then of course goals difference will decide who qualifies, and Salvador are the team you must think in terms of scoring a lot of goals against. This is different. Van Hibst. Flamenco there. Out to Aparicio. Back to Flamenco. Rivas, this man who they use a lot to find in the space on the right-hand side. Quintanilla. Back to Rivas. Fullback who likes to overlap Martinez. He looks a good player. Scored 7 of El Salvador's goals on the way here. Well, Summerlin gets the Mexican equivalent of the bird, whatever that is in Mexican. Manzano with throw for El Salvador. This is Aparicio, 18-year-old outside left, youngest man in the side, not having any luck there at all. Different, he's got a bit of space here if he can go, and then he should be able to field Lombert. He's fed a butt to Semmeling, but very well cut off indeed by Osorio. Flamenco. Quintanilla. Can he find Rodriguez, their star man who's had so little of the ball yet at outside right here? In fact, loses the ball. Van Moor may make him pay for this. This is Van Moor. Nice chip indeed to Lombert. Bit cramped at the moment. Different. Cut out there well by Flamenco. This is Rodriguez, the boy on whom Salvador pinned so many hopes today. Van Hibst. Bad ball by Lombert. Cut out there by Mariona, the Salvador captain. Good ball indeed by Mariona. This is Quintanilla. Martinez coming towards him, making space. Rodriguez taking a man away from him. Martinez gets the ball. Strongly tackled by DeWalt. Well, little Van Moor meant business then, didn't he, when he won that tackle. Rivas with the throw for Salvador. Vasquez there, not directing his header well enough at all. Losing possession. Van Hibst. Paul Van Hibst, the versatile forward of Belgium. Van Moor, his midfield partner. Semmeling looking for Van Hibst. There is Van Hibst. Belgium playing the ball about now, trying to pull Salvador out. Belgium's problem is that the game is now being played in one half of the field, and so Belgium have got to try and create space. Not easy. Docks. Keaton. Decent, too big and strong there for Rodriguez. Twee. Semmeling. Halen's rather. Got Semmeling outside him. Long one for Lambert. Lambert down nicely. Different fighting for Manzano on the ball for El Salvador. Martinez beaten there by Halen. This is Van Moor. Number 8 and number 10. They're the midfield boys for Belgium. This is Puy who's assisting them in midfield today. Letting another long one go. And that swerved and that worried Magana. He's not happy with his long shot. Rivas. Devalk. Puy. Nice ball. Puy and Semmeling are finding each other nicely from midfield to respective wing. This is Van Hemp. Got Puy in space inside him, but it's too obvious a pass. Wants to make it more obvious, unobvious rather. This is Puy again. Again he lets fly, and again it moves, but wide.
Now wide for the captain. Brazil 1. The goal scored by number 11, Raymond Hale.
Flamenco. Vasquez. Martinez. Did his man beautifully. He does look a good player, this Martinez, inside to Quintanilla. But a very good piece of work there indeed by Halen, who got that to Devalk, who finished off the clearance. Keeson with the free kick for Belgium. Van Hip. Different. Keeson. This is Lambert. Not a good one at all, actually. Vasquez did rather well to let it go through his legs. Thought there was coming behind him. This is Manzano finding Aparicio. Tries to do too much, but then somebody on the El Salvador side has got to start to try to beat Belgian defenders. They're a goal down. They're not penetrating. Divalka. Van Moor. Rivas. Flamenco. Vasquez. Rivas again. Quintanilla lose bad ball control. They cost him possession. Away come Belgium. Van Moor. Semmeling. Got Van Hips nicely inside him, but De Bruyne going outside him. This is dangerous. Away comes Van Hips. This is De Bruyne. Well, Van Hips just ran that a little too far. Otherwise, a fine move. Away comes Rivas. Rodriguez. Hustled by Thiessen. Thiessen's getting on top of Rodriguez here. Very good tackle indeed by Mariano, the captain. Flamenco comes through. Gives it to Rivas. Time and again, El Salvador. Use Rivas on the overlap. This is Quintanilla. Aparicio, Quintanilla. Aparicio nearly beat Stocks there. Unlucky young Aparicio, 18-year-old, hadn't played for the national side until a year ago, and now here he is in Mexico City in the World Cup finals. Well, that looks like a foul there by Docks indeed on Martinez. Free kick to El Salvador. Their first dangerous situation of the match. Well, Martinez is going to take it. I would have thought he was more use on the receiving end of it from the thrustful stuff he's been showing us. A direct free kick, so he may have a shot. There it goes. He did have a go, but didn't keep it low enough. Van Moor. Quintanilla rushed him well there. Flamenco rather, rushed more sensibly but overdid it. Vivalca. Halens. Van Imps making space well on the right, was always thinking. Van Moor. Got Lambert and De Vrij inside him, gives it to Semmeling. Back to Van Moor. Doesn't cut it back at all well. Osorio. Van Imps over the bar. Paul Van Imps, captain of the Belgian side, already directing the Belgian attack very shrewdly. Well, Salvador mustn't give the ball away like that if they want to survive. Semmeling with the throw for Belgium. Manzano there, does well, gets assistance from Quintanilla. Is Puy. He'll let rip, there it goes. There it goes, my goodness me, Magana only just got down to it, didn't he? There's Puy. Quintanilla. Vasquez. Quintanilla. A good play there by Van Moor. Back to Docks. Now it's Puy again. Try and find Semmeling, I imagine, in a moment. There he goes, finds him. That's Semmeling, but loses the ball. To Manzano. The linesman has flagged, but there was an infringement by Manzano. I thought it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But Belgium get the benefit. This is Van Moor on the ball. The chip for Best, who can't quite turn it back. And Magana there berating his defence for not spotting the way Van Imps is infiltrating off the ball. Flamenco. Manzano. Osorio. Mariano sweeping up there. Will undoubtedly get this one unless Lambert can cut the pass out. Makes the angle too difficult. Does so Quintanilla gets it. Good running there by Flamenco, but he's robbed. It's big Vivalca. Good ball indeed to De Vrij. Van Imps. Got Semmeling on his right, gives it. Thiessen moves up in support. Van Imps comes close for a return pass or to draw someone away. It's Van Imps. Gives it to Puy. Puy, referee gets in the way. Puy lets fly. Blocked by Osorio. Lambert across the penalty area. Van Imps can't reach it. Back to corner kick to Belgium. Lambert's shot having been touched pretty on in flight, I would say. Semmeling with the corner kick. 25 minutes gone. De Vrij not at all up. Mariano clears, but Puy still has it. No trouble about that one. Well, as Raul Mangana takes his umpteenth goal kick after only 25 minutes, it's quite clear Salvador are in for a very hard evening's work here. They've been pinned down, but they're only one goal down, so they must still be hoping. That's a good ball to Flamenco from young Aparicio. Vasquez. Good. Well, a little too ambitious. Van Moor read it nicely. Aparicio and Van Moor, but Van Moor's too good for him. De Vrij. Semmeling. That's for Lambert, but Magana, no trouble there. Manzano. Good ball there. This man makes good positions for himself, Martinez. He's a good centre forward in anybody's language. Rivas. Vasquez. Quintanilla. A nice centre indeed. Rodriguez couldn't quite get up to it. Christian Theo made no mistake there with his first most difficult assignment of the afternoon. Van Hemst inevitably in possession as Belgium attacks. Semmeling got Van Hemst outside him. Van Hemst has taken Manzano away. Van Hemst coming in now, calling for people to come to him. De Vrij aimed for Van Hemst. Chance here for Lambert, he can get a shot in. Lambert wide, wants the corner kick, doesn't get it. There's big Lambert, who's got into this Belgian side when, months ago, he looked like an automatic reserve, not player. He's got in because he's acclimatized to the heat and the height here. Rivas. Martinez didn't control that one, allowing Van Moor to come away, but Flamenco read that one easily. Ball to Martinez. What a nice ball indeed, aimed for Rodriguez, but De Vrij had covered back well there, the Belgian centre forward. That must be a foul against Manzano there for that rough tackle on Semmeling. Semmeling takes the free kick. Van Hemst. Change of pace there by Van Hemst. Vasquez, Martinez, Rodriguez. Cut out by Van Moor. Thiessen. Puy. Van Hemst. Got Semmeling outside him. Semmeling gets it. Semmeling lets it run into touch. Gestures angrily to himself. Belgium not by any means scoring the goals one thought they might. They're only one goal up, half an hour's gone. This was the match in which they should A, first win the game, and B, secondly, get some goals in the bank in case goal average counts in the last analysis. Thiessen. Van Hemst. Good ball to De Vrij. De Vrij wasted that one. Could have shot on the turn or could have given it back to Van Hemst and did neither. Magana, a very relieved goalkeeper, waiting to his teammates to make some space, to widen the thing out a bit. They're in danger of bunching. Here's Thiessen. But only to Quintanilla. Martinez calling for it, gets it. Martinez has got Aparicio outside him. Gives it back to the overlapping fullback Manzano, but Aparicio gets it first. This is Aparicio. Good ball to Martinez, but they're beginning to run out of space now. They're having to play it backwards. Rivas. Big device, that one. Good play there by Divalka. Coming up now, he's got Lambert outside him. Gives it instead to De Vrij, but not accurately enough. Van Hemst picks it up. Foul there against Van Hemst. Poor Van Hemst, who didn't agree with that decision. Vasquez. This is Quintanilla. Getting through a lot of work in the right side of midfield. Free kick there to Belgium. Van Moor. Haaland. Probably looking for something different than the inevitable pass out to Semmeling. Belgium looking to vary it a bit more, I should think, by now. This is Van Hemst. Now Semmeling. Now Van Hemst. Now he's got Lambert and De Vrij inside if he can find them. Tries the low. Cut out nicely there by Osoro. Aparicio. An ambitious one. Finds Flamenco very nicely indeed, but Flamenco too slow to get away with it. Divalka to Haaland. De Vrij. Well, this is almost a picnic for the Belgian players in the amount of the ball they are able to obtain, but they're not making sensational use of it at this stage. Good use, yes. Brilliant use, no. This is... Oh, good ball to De Vrij. If he's not offside, he is offside. Magana and the hundreds of El Salvador supporters in this crowd of, I would say, 50,000. This vast bowl about half full at this stage. The Mexican supporters and the El Salvador supporters breathe again because Salvador is the team they both want to win, both for Salvador's sake and for Mexico's sake. This is Vasquez. Quintanilla making space, good on the right. Vasquez used him as a decoy because Rodriguez gets in. What a good ball to Martinez if he can turn quickly, but little Van Moor there, number 8. Back very well indeed. Van Moor gets the return ball from Pio. And Belgium survive after a slight scare. This is Thiessen, another of the big men in this Belgian side. Martinez there does well, but he's got Thiessen covering back again. Hayden. 34 minutes gone as Belgium right back Hayden. Finds Van Moor there, who has, as usual, a choice of 2 men to pass to, Van Hips and somebody else. Van Hips back to Van Moor. This is Lambert. Semmeling gets it. Different spot. The far side of the penalty area, if somebody can get the quick centre, and there it goes, different, cut off nicely by Mariona. Now it's Manzano on the ball, he's got Aparicio outside him, there it goes, aimed for him, Aparicio gets it nicely. Flamenco losing it to Dox. Dox now, another of the big strong men in this Belgian side. A very good ball to the front, if he can catch it he won't. Magana with the goal kick for El Salvador. Van Hips. Different. Semmeling should score here. This is Lambert. Oh, very well indeed. Tackled there by Osorio. A fine ball for Rodriguez if he's not offside. He's not, according to the linesman, Devout. And Doc saved that situation. This is Van Moor. Well, that raised a roar in Mexican and Salvadorian throats. That's a good ball, isn't it? To Thiessen. Pull back. Did the difficult part well and nearly did the easy part badly. Fell over the ball. Pui. Good ball to Thiessen. Fullback against fullback there. Overlapping fullback. Thwarted by defending fullback. That'll either be a corner kick or throw in. I think it's a corner kick. Yes, indeed. Pui with a corner kick. 35 minutes gone. Belgium must be now thinking in terms of a badly needed second goal. Different. Van Hips won't get it with that one. And the whistles from the Mexican supporters of the Salvadorian team. Manzano, Magana. Devalk there, too strong for Martinez. It was crude, but it was effective. Van Moor, Semmeling. Van Hips in inevitable support. Van Hips now against 2 men in the line for the cross. So Van Hips gets it back, cut out by Vasquez. Oh, nice work there by Quintanilla. Beats Van Moor beautifully. That's for Rodriguez. He's offside, surely. Linesman agrees. Young Rodriguez there, beginning to take up some interesting positions for these through balls, but offside there, and Pio gives him a sympathetic pat on the back. Mariona. Aparicio, they're run by Semmeling. Hayden. Van Hips, Lambert rather. Flamenco. Got Quintanilla outside him. but so is Rivas, the overlapping fullback coming up. Rivas on the ball, Quintanilla outside him, gives it inside to Martinez, outside to Quintanilla. Meanwhile, Beeson read the whole thing and cleared. Rivas. Mariona, the Salvador captain, on the ball. Good ball to young Aparicio, 18 years of age. Docks clears. Van Moor, rather Puy. Looks same sort of build, these two. This is Puy, though. That's a good one for Van Himst. Just a little bit too far. When he doesn't see a goalkeeper head the ball clear, particularly with a cap on. Van Himst, Divlin. Puy. Far post maybe for Lambert when he gets some space to make the centre, but he's well tackled there by Rivas. Van Himst with the throw for Belgium. 6 minutes to go to half-time. Lambert sells Rivas a nice dummy. Cut out by Mariona. Quintanilla. Martinez. Good ball indeed to Manzano. Both these Salvador fullbacks prepared to come up and help out in attack. Van Moor there robs Flamenco. Semmeling will just catch that. He's got De Vrij outside him. Gives it. Oh, De Vrij beat nicely there. Chance here, but he's run it out. He ran it out of play. Looking for just the extra thrust past the extra defender to make it a clear chance, and lost the ball. Magana, Manzano. Manzano to Martinez. Cortez. Well, a sensible ball in many ways. If El Salvador are trying to waste time, perhaps they are. Perhaps they regard only 1-0 down as a satisfactory situation. Well, they got in a mess there. Docks and Divalka. Free kick against Belgium. Martinez shaping to take it. Let's rip, and it wasn't a bad shot. It was fairly near the target, but Christian Pio was right under in position there. Pio, who's the Belgian goalkeeping job from Sapalier.
Czechoslovakia 1, Brazil 1.
Lambert against Rivas, nobody gets it. Your friend helps out, Lambert won't catch it. Throw into Salvador, throw into Belgium in fact, the long one. Van Himst beaten by the goalkeeper well there. Magana did well to get out to the edge of his area for that. Semmeling. Van Himst. Van Moor outside him, loses it to Manzano, regains it. The linesman wants a free kick to Belgium. Puy will go across and take it because he has the best left foot in Belgium, so they say, and will obviously curl this one in towards goal with that left foot. Puy with the free kick. Minutes to half-time. De Vrij gets his head to it. Lambert is prevented from having a swipe at it because it's a free kick to El Salvador against De Vrij's challenge on goalkeeper Magana, much to the approval of the hometown citizens. Manzano. Martinez again, making space for him on the left, but Semmeling has cut off the direction of pass. But now he hasn't, because Martinez has got it. That's much too ambitious a ball. Divalka can just save his legs and watch that one A run down towards the corner flag. Bags of time. Van Moor wants him to give it to the goalkeeper, but Van Moor gets it instead. Beautiful ball control there by Van Moor. Sammeling, rather, Halens, Van Hims. Having some trouble there from Vasquez, but loses him. Vasquez comes back for second. Halens is up there. Van Moor saves it. Sammeling. De Vrient, Sammeling. Well, he gets away with a corner kick. Manzano. Might have been a little worse. Sammeling not sure whether it is a free kick on the edge of the box or a corner kick. The corner kick which will take. Back to Halens. Runs through to Puy. Wasted opportunity by Belgium. Rodriguez. Halens. Lambert. Well, now De Vrient's in a good position, but he lets rip. Lambert lets rip when De Vrient, who challenged there, was in a better position. Quintanilla on the ball for El Salvador. Martinez. Manzano. Rivas. Good tackle there by Van Moor. Manzano. Rivas. Vasquez. Rivas. Rodriguez. Martinez. Flamenco beaten by Van Moor. Van Hims now has got a bit of space to create something more incisive in, if he does it quickly. Gives it to Puy. Here comes the long one, cut out nicely by Rivas. Corner kick to Belgium. Free kick for an infringement, in fact. Rivas now. If Rivas was on piecework, he'd be very highly paid for this match, but he's not. And Salvador are still only by a goal to nil. Rivas will not catch that. He's put in trouble by that pass. Thiessen. Van Moor. Hayden. Lambert. And the whistle goes for half for a free kick. It is in fact for half time. Free kick, half time, and the half time score, Belgium 1, El Salvador 0. It's a score which Belgium will be reasonably satisfied with, but by no means delighted about, because this was 2 points they were pretty certain to get, providing they played pretty much to normal form, which they've done. But this was a match in which they should go for goals. They got the one goal from Van Moor, a 35-yard rock, which Mangania might well have saved, but didn't. But since then, Belgium have tended to fritter away their chances, and the little guys from the tiny Republic of El Salvador are not too badly off at one goal down. It'd be interesting to know which is supposed to be which of the linesmen who sort them out. One isn't told. That'll be something to take up with ABU. Have a run through in the first few minutes to see if there are any different numbers on. See what I mean? Have a run through early on if you spot a new number from, you know what I mean? Start ticking them off now. 18's here, 2's here. And the second half gets underway, slightly delayed. El Salvador in the all-white, playing right to left. Those of you with colour sense, Belgium in red shirts and black shirts playing. Belgium 1 goal up. El Salvador still alive, still breathing. The little men from the tiny republic who are so glad to be here, they're not beaten yet. Van Hemst for Belgium. Lambert cut out nicely by Rivas. Oh, good work there by Rivas, beating Van Hemst. And Martinez, always creating good space for himself. Back to Rivas. Quintanilla. The long one, gave it away there. Salvador a neat side, but not penetrant enough, not strong enough really to give the Belgians a lot of trouble. The big question being, can Belgium score more goals? Thiessen. Carrying the ball a little bit too much, cramping the space in this half of the field when they get there. Just Puy. Van Hemst going round Rivas nicely, men inside him. There it is, there's a chance for Lambert, but Osorio cleared well. Van Moor trying to change the direction, does so. This is Halens, fullback Halens. Cleared again by Osorio. Van Moor again on the ball. Van Hemst getting past Rivas. Rivas conceding the corner kick. Corner kick to Belgium. The Belgian players who were telling us before this match they have found it difficult to get used. Double H problem here. The heat and the height. Not looking all that lively, not dashing about as much as they do in Europe, but then who can? This is Van Hemst. Well, that was nearly number 2. A good save there by Magana. Magana, who felt upset about letting in the first goal. Good save there. There's the replay. Little quick on the replays in this country. Headed away there by Vasquez. This is Puy. Very well taken indeed by Magana. Probably offside, but the referee played the advantage. Manzano. Back to Magana. Back to Manzano. Got Aparicio wanting some action outside him, but he's too well marked up at the moment. Good ball indeed to Vasquez. Rivas, this fullback Rivas likes to move up. That's a good ball to Rodriguez. Nice one to Martinez, will be offside. Must be offside. And is offside. No danger there to Christian Pio, this big handsome Belgian goalkeeper. Offside all the way. Boos from the Mexican and Salvadorian public. Different, made a lot of ground to get that one. Chatting with him, so it's back to Puy. Different still outside, gets it. Nice build-up, but not too penetrative in the box. These Belgians. Vasquez clearing. Quintanilla. Flamenco, rather, that was. Flamenco, that foul on Van Hemst. Romanian referee Andrei Radulescu there has not had a lot of trouble on the physical contact side. It's a direct free kick. Will Belgium try another long one? No. And the short one wasn't very good either. Stocks. And 21 people in Salvador's half of the field then. Thiessen, the fullback there, down to Puy, but Rivas happy to give away the throw-in. Salvador happy to survive in this match. If they don't get a hiding, that will be an accomplishment for them. Lambert with a long throw. Osorio. Chance here for Van Moor. Let's rip. What a magnificent save there by Magana. We shall see that again in a moment for sure. The stadium rises to Magana. There it is. A great shot and a magnificent save. Back to the action now. Magana's had to make another in the meanwhile. And the cheers are echoing around this ground now as the Mexicans sense some action. Another good corner kick, headed away by Martinez. Lambert with a chance, hammers it wide. There's big Lambert, who came into the side. Something of a surprise that he's got in. Doc sweeping up for Belgium. Hasn't had too much work to do with the brush today, though. Rivas with the throw. Vasquez. Rodriguez Vasquez. Quintanilla. Tackled by Thiessen there, making it easy for De Valk. Helen. De Vrient. Van Moor. Helen. Well, that's too much ambition on the end of that pass for Lambert. Had no chance of getting that. No worry there for Magana. Quintanilla to Rivas. Back to Manzano. This is Van Hemst, good one inside to De Vrient, let's rip. A nasty moment there for Magana because it was diverted. He did well to save that. Quintanilla, up Paricio, 18-year-old boy. That's a good one, but nicely read there by Dox. De Valk in a little bit of trouble from Martinez at the moment. Gets out of it nicely. Must be a free kick there to Belgium. Played the advantage rule, says the referee. Sensible adjudicating there. Van Moor. Palance. Belgium looking a bit brisker in the second half. Van Moor. Semmeling. Lambert again found that one a bit difficult. Oh, mistake there by Osorio, but Magana saved the side again. What a good second half this goalkeeper's having. Semmeling with the corner kick. Well, that wasn't too clever a punch there by Magana. Put his side in trouble. We had it. Flamenco, rather. Flamenco to Manzano.
Brazil 2, the goal scored by Pele.
A good ball indeed to Semmeling. He's got 2 men inside it. There it goes. Near it. The goal. Van Moor. Number 2. Semmeling cross. Van Hemst had the chance to score it. Van Moor put it in. There he is. Little Van Moor, his second. There it goes. There it is. Couldn't miss that one, and he took it nicely. Buried it in the net. Well, now, Belgium have tasted blood again. They must now think in terms of trying to give their goal average a nice boost. Salvador, 2 goals down, 8 minutes into the second half. This is Vasquez. Robbed by Van Moor, who's very much the hero for Belgium this afternoon. Van Hemst. Lambert. Van Hemst, who's got through a mountain of work, this man. Coming inside, brought down there. Must be a free kick. Brought down there by Rivas. He's let it play on. He hasn't given it. Flamenco. Manzano. Quintanilla, Flamenco rather. He's got Quintanilla outside him, finds him, that's Quintanilla. Back to Rivas. They build up nicely, but they lack the strength to get past this strong Belgian defence where it matters in the box. That's not a bad shot, though. Not too bad a shot at all there from Flamenco. Mariona. Docks the sweeper. Nice ball to Van Moor. Divalke. Little bit cramped at the moment. Have to give some width to it to Haaland. So there it goes. Semmeling stealing round the back of the defence nicely. Doesn't get it yet. Van Moor's got it. Pui will probably let rip if he can get it onto the left foot. Can't. Rivas robs Different nicely, but Van Hip still has it. Van Moor. Nice one to Semmeling. Semmeling against Manzona. Won't beat him, it's gone. Semmeling thought he was fouled, but he already pushed the ball too far. Good decision, Romanian referee. Manzano. Osorio. Manzano. Aparicio. Youngest man on the field. Not had a lot to do today, but not a bad little ball player. Ernesto Aparicio loses it there, though, to Haaland, who's got in a good position here. Semmeling, it's 4 against 3 at the moment if they can do it quickly. Semmeling. Pui. No, didn't quite get enough power or punch into it. Magana, not too much bothered to save it. Aparicio. This boy a year ago was only 8 stone, now he's 9.5 stone. That's how much pro football's done for him. Besides quite a lot of money. During El Salvador's run, their first appearance in the World Cup final stages. This is Van Hips, though, for Belgium. Semmeling. Rivas should clear that, does so to Quintanilla. Good play this by El Salvador. Aparicio should have made more room down the left though now. He didn't make progress and allowed Semmeling to get back and rob Quintanilla, who was committed to retaining possession. Trying to make up now by tackling back. Van Hipst. Got Lambert outside him, gives it to Lambert. Not a bad effort by the big fella with his left foot. That's the one he stands on normally. Manzano. Well, cut out quite easy by Van Moor. It was advertised, that pass, and Van Moor now. Van Hipst. Pui, there goes the left foot shot, but it didn't connect. Pui there, a man with a good left foot shot, but well that time. No trouble for Magana. Manzano on the ball for El Salvador. 15 minutes gone into the second half. Belgium 2 goals up, which is no more than strict par for the course. They must think in terms of 4 or 5 goals if their performance today is to be rated really high. And Salvador now perhaps looking to contain the Belgian margin of victory instead of going for goals themselves. Osorio. Flamenco, Osorio. Manzano. And there you are. As I was saying, that was a 50-yard ball back to his goalkeeper, and the Mexicans don't like it. They'll whistle anybody who does the long back pass, even if it is their Central American neighbours from El Salvador. Van Moor on the ball. Van Moor and Van Hips, very much the Belgian partnership, major importance in their side. This is Semmeling. Van Moor for the chip. Van Moor not quite to it before Mariona, the Salvador captain. Summerling with the throw for Belgium. Van Himst indicates to put it inside to Puy. Puy back to Van Moor. Good ball there to left back Thiessen. Shows nice dexterity for a full-back. Now it's Puy. Van Moor. Neither right full-back Haylands nor outside right Summerling in the right position for that. And Van Moor bisected the space between them to present the ball to Salvador. Manzano with the throw. Martinez not getting away in this half from the Belgian centre-backs, De Valke and Dox, like he was in the first. Haylands now. Summerling. De Vrij, nice position there. Well cut out there by Mariona, the El Salvador captain, at the expense of an inevitable corner, but he did well there. It was dangerous. This is Van Himst. Summerling. Oh, bit lucky to retain possession there, but now he's got a chance. And it's Audio who saves the day again for the tiny Republic of El Salvador. 2 goals down, 18 minutes of the second half gone. Are they going to get a real hiding from Belgium, or is it going to be a respectable score? That's what the remaining 25 minutes or so will tell us. Van Himst with a corner kick for Belgium. Van Himst, Puy, let's rip, fierce but not on target. And they've taken Manzano off. El Salvador have taken Manzano off. And number 4, Cortez Mendez has come on. That is the first substitution in this match, 20 minutes into the second half. There he is on the ball now. Salvador's new man, not making a very good start, putting his side into trouble. Lambert on the ball for Belgium. He gives it away too, enabling Quintanilla to see if Salvador can in fact sort out a goal in this game. Manzano not having had a bad game, but perhaps they're looking for a little bit more thrust now with only a quarter of the match left. Perhaps Salvador wants a little more attacking play, and perhaps that's why Cortez has been brought on. That's how it would look on paper anyway. This is Van Himst. Flamenco's away. He's got Martinez to his left, he's got Rodriguez to his right, but now he's not got the ball, which is the important thing. Dox having taken it off him, but at the expense of a free kick. Free kick to Salvador. Vasquez placing the ball. Will Martinez take it or will Vasquez? Martinez, the taller of the two. Vasquez to Martinez for the big shot. There, no danger at all. Well wide of goal. Christian Pio has hardly been the most overworked member of the Belgian side today. Nicely controlled there by Osorio to Cortez Mendes. Yes. Nice ball to Flamenco. Good one to Rodriguez, an equally good return. But Dox has got him. The sweeper has swept. Away comes Dox. In fact, a free kick to Belgium, I would imagine. Van Moor, neat, skilled, accomplished midfield player, certainly against the side of the rather weaker calibre of El Salvador. This is Puig, Hayden, Semmeling. It's just a little predictable, isn't it? Puig rather losing that ball for Belgium. Cortez Mendes. Martinez getting away there from Divalka. Doc sweeping across ferociously. Really powered into that one. Halen's back to recover. They don't sprint these big Belgian defenders when it comes to the crunch. And why should they? This is Van Moor. Divrit, who has not had an outstanding game, not shown the sort of form which brought in 6 World Cup goals on the road to Mexico. Van Moor, Halen, Lombert, beaten to it by Mariano, the captain of El Salvador, who are still alive. 2 goals down though. This is Semmeling. Divrit, Lombert. Oh, must be the goal, must be. Oh, my goodness me. Paul Van Hip missed the sitter there. Cortez Mendes has to give it back to us because nobody made space near enough to him to be certain of him finding them. Rivas. And again, the same situation, so back to Magana. Martinez did quite well there, but Halen's had covered nicely for Divalka. This is Aparicio, must stop! A great piece of goalkeeping by Pio. Came out of his goal like a bullet there, was on top of young Aparicio, boy knew what had happened. And Pio gives the boy a friendly pat on the back as if to say, well son, better luck next time as long as it's not against us. This is Big Halen. He'll probably let one rip now, gives it to Van Hip, who doesn't time the return pass half well enough. Flamenco, Cortez Mendes. Well, there's a bloomer. This is Lombert, back to Van Moor. Van Moor running into trouble. Divrit, Van Hip. Another sitter. Well, Paul Van Hip, Belgium's captain and extremely accomplished player, will never miss, surely, 2 sitters as close together as that again. And the whistles reverberate round Azteca Stadium, and Paul Van Hip must wish the ground would open up and hide him for a moment. That should have been 3-4 for Belgium. And the crowd now beginning to chant Mexico, I think, suggesting to Belgium that you won't be good enough to beat our Mexican side. Well, that remains to be seen. That's another battle. This one continues with Jeff hopping a little bit there as he thought Easton's tackle would really rip into him. Rodriguez dogs there, very strong this boy when the chips are down. Won 2 tackles there and got a free kick for Vasquez's foul on him in the end. Well, that was a mad pass, wasn't it? Really put Thiessen in trouble, Hayden did then, and he was lucky that Thiessen could get out of that mess. De Brent there. Out tackled by Rivas. Oh, well, this is a moment of madness here on both sides. And a good shot there by Lambert. Well, there were 3 or 4 zip passes from one side there, coupled with those 2 misses of Van Himst, and it's been crazy soccer here for the last few minutes. But the score remains the same. Belgium 2, Salvador 0, 18 minutes to go. Cortés Mendes. Magaña. Rivas. The crowd suggesting by their Mexico that their teams are of these. Van Moor, Hayden, Van Moor, Puy rather, Van Himst, who's rather been hiding since those 2 misses. Perhaps he wants to think about them. I would have thought it was best not to think about them, but he certainly hasn't been in the game in these last few minutes. Quintanilla. Osorio. Mariano, the captain. Belgium closing in though on Martinez now. Martinez wins it nicely. He's played well, this number 9, Martinez, but he's lacked support. Quintanilla, Flamenco, Taylor. Rodriguez not sharp enough round the back on these runs of his. Martinez is creating things, but Rodriguez, the other striker, not been too quick onto them. Cortés Mendes. Flamenco. Taking Van Moor on, losing the ball. Osorio. Osorio not so wide with that one. Minutes to go. Christian Pio with the goal kick for Belgium. Van Moor. That's a good ball. Van Himst will turn it back. Had to turn it back. Got the corner kick. Magaña over there. Might have held that one, I thought. Van Himst to Puy. Back to Van Himst. De Brent's in a good position in the middle if the chip can be got in, but he couldn't get to it. Osorio was there. De Brent never rose. Cortés Mendes. Magaña, Rivas. Salvador trying to make Belgium run, I fancy. They were telling me that they would try and make Belgium run in this match to see if Belgium would run out of steam, faced with this problem that all the European teams have of the extreme height and the extreme heat here. But quite frankly, Salvador haven't really been good enough to make Belgium run as much as Salvador would have liked to have done. Salvador, of course, a team, altitude. Lambert. Lambert did well there, got round Osorio, got round Mariano rather. Yet another corner kick for Belgium. Van Himst going to take it this time. Free. No trouble there. No challenge from De Vrient or Lambert. Lambert had the excuse that he was injured. He just signalled to the bench. Osorio. Vasquez. Martinez, Quintana, Vasquez. Rivas. They've filled it up now. They're in near the box. What can they do with it? Quintanilla robbed very easily there by Thiessen. My goodness me, Quintanilla looks as though he's run out of steam, let alone the Belgians. This way. Demeling. Good ball there to Van Imps. Good running by Van Imps to make the space. De Vrient loses it. Flamenco sets Salvador away. Cortes Mendes. The dummy work there by Flamenco. Got him past Demeling, didn't get him past Van Moor. Van Moor was adjudged to have fouled Flamenco. Free kick, Cortes Mendes on the ball. Nicely turned inside there by Rodriguez. Martinez to Quintanilla. Well, they've made some progress here. Can they switch it yet again to Martinez? Aparicio has it now. Beats his man nicely. And his second man. It's on if he can get it back, but he could never find Martinez. Well, that was a good chance there for Salvador. Oh, De Vrient sold a beautiful dummy there. But to Osorio. De Vrient. Demeling. Van Imps. De Vrient. One pass too many as they try to get through the six-man Salvador block there. Divalca beating Martinez to that one, but only gives it to Aparicio if he's quick. The boy's got it. He's not a bad player, this boy on the ball. Free kick, in fact, against him. Referee doesn't like it. Aparicio doesn't like it. Twee to left back Thiessen. Lambert. Demeling. De Vrient to Demeling. Is this number 3? Well, penalty. I don't know. He's given it. He's given it. Cortes Mendes, the substitute, tackle on Demeling. The referee has given the penalty. Salvador players don't like it. They had a case to be made out that Demeling had already lost the ball before Cortes' tackle came in. But Romanian referee Andrei Radulescu decided it was an intentional foul by Cortes Mendes, and it is a penalty and Belgium's chance to make it 3-0. Well, Demeling is still not fully recovered from that heavy tackle by Cortes Mendes. Did you see goalkeeper Magana there really bury the ball on the spot there? Anything to put off the man who's taking the kick. But of course Van Imps says no, I will now replace it to my liking. It's not yet clear who's taking it. I imagine it will be him. If not him, Johan De Vrient. If not him, Lambert. There's 3 of them shaping up to take it. It is in fact Lambert. It's there, no mistake with that one. He buried that one. Lambert makes it 3-0 after 80 minutes. And the tiny republic of El Salvador now are surely well and truly beaten. And I think Lambert is now going off the field. And that must be what times a man has taken a penalty and then walked off. He had an injury, and he actually took the penalty. Well, there's something for you to talk about back home. Not yet clear who the substitute is, but we'll give it to you as soon as it is clear. Cortes Mendes on the ball there. Divalca. Van Imps. Oh, losing his man beautifully there. That's what makes this boy one of Europe's top footballers. This is substitute. Substitute Polonis, in fact. Polonis is the substitute. And no surprise at all, because Polonis scored 5 goals for Belgium on the way to Mexico. The only reason he wasn't in this side from the start was probably due to the fact that he found it difficult to acclimatise here. Polonis, number 16 on the field. He failed to acclimatise probably because he in fact was suspended from football for some time just before they came out here. A corner kick to Salvador, a minor triumph for these minor minnows in the World Cup to obtain a corner kick. Let's see what they can do with it. Isio is taking it. It is their first corner of the match. Cortes Mendes unmarked in the back of the box. But it's never going to reach him. Pio not too clever with that punch, I didn't think. But he's saved, in fact, by Flamenco, who wasted the opportunity. Pio is talking to the referee. He wants to point out he was in fact fouled. He has in fact got the free kick. Hayden. It's tunneling. Well, that is a good ball there. Nearly got it through to Van Imst. Quintanilla changes the direction. Good work by Quintanilla. This is Aparicio, the young 18-year-old outside left of Salvador. Cortes Mendes. Quintanilla. Cortes Mendes. Aparicio. Belgium policing them very efficiently. De Valka there. Osorio. And in the end, Belgium had shadowed and shunted Salvador so much that from position well in Belgium's half, they were forced to play the ball back to their own goalkeeper. Very frustrating for Salvador and for their couple of thousand supporters who've come up from El Salvador for this game. Durant. Cut out there by Mariona, the El Salvador captain. Osorio, his fellow stopper, to Cortes Mendes. Cortes Mendes. Aparicio, rather. Big, strong left-back Thiessen winning that one from Quintanilla. Now proceeding to play himself into some trouble. Rescued by Docks. Inside to Van Moor. Thiessen. Belgium now will be feeling pretty sick with this 3-0 margin. A couple more goals would go down very nicely. In case, of course, goal average becomes important in the final analysis, which it might well do in a group with 3 teams potentially so level as Russia, Mexico and Belgium. Well, is this number 4? Polonis. Good save there by Magana from Polonis. Everyone now a little short of energy, a little short of oxygen, because we're 7,500, whether you come from Salvador or Belgium. It is difficult after 80 minutes. Even more difficult for the Belgians than for the Salvadorians. And Belgium now will be a lot wiser as to how they last the pace. Of course, Salvador not a good enough side to fully extend them, and so they haven't had the final proof of this altitude problem. This is Van Imst. Osorio there, rescuing his side. Quintanilla. Docks sweeping up. De Valka. Van Moor. Semmeling. Playing it at walking pace now. Conserve the energy. We. Docks. This is Pui. Now it's getting near the box. They're trying to quicken it up a little bit to look for that fourth goal. Semmeling. The chip into the box. Cleared there by Osorio. Semmeling with the throw. Van Hips on the ball. Pui. Good position for Wood drives. There it goes. Blocked off by Mariona. The Salvador captain has had a very fair game. And in fact, El Salvador have another substitute on now. It's Sormeno Gennaro, number 16. On and operating there on the right flank attack. Probably for Rivas, I would imagine. We'll see as the last few minutes unfold. Semmeling. Van Moor. Halen. Van Hips. Van Moor goes down outside to try and create the space, comes back inside now, trying to pull these people about. This is Palernis. Right back Halen. Van Moor, nice little ball inside, again to Halen. Palernis comes to the near post, but that's wasted. Bad ball there by Halen. Better than that against Russia on Saturday. That's the big one, of course, for Belgium, followed by the other big one, their game against Mexico. This game against Salvador is the game in which Belgium knew they must collect 2 points, and if possible, a minimum of 3 goals. And that is what they have at the moment, so they must be given a pass mark as the game moves into the last 2 or 3 minutes. Halen. Van Moor. Shows the ball, doesn't get it. Aparicio has him down. He sensibly plays the advantage rule. Pui. Semmeling well wide with that one. And Salvador live again. Flamenco. The crowd here have not had too much to shout about. For a miracle, of course, they hope that Salvador could upset Belgium and therefore do a great job for Mexico. But from the moment that Belgium took a fairly early lead after 30 minutes from Van Moor, it was pretty obvious that Belgium were not going to lose this one. Quintanilla. Halen's too good for Aparicio in the air. Van Moor completes the operation and Semmeling is brought down there. In fact, the first foul was by Semmeling on Flamenco. That's the way the referee has seen it, and it is a free kick to Salvador. Coming up to the end of normal time now. This could be their last opportunity to get a goal. Meanwhile, young Aparicio is writhing in agony there on the floor from that tackle by Halen. Young Aparicio, 18-year-old boy who knew nothing about the big time until 1 year ago. Then he got into the international side under the coaching of Carrasco and the other Salvador chiefs. This boy knew more about the game. They put him on a special diet. They built him up from a puny 8 stone to 9.5 stone. He was supposed to have had some sort of heart trouble, but he must have shown a lot of heart to come through this long, long road that El Salvador have trodden to get here. They've had to come through a group involving 12 teams. They were unknown until this World Cup, and so was Aparicio. Well, the boy has not had a great game today. That's been impossible, but at least he'll be able to tell the folks back home that he played in the World Cup. At the moment, he's obviously not too happy about the situation. He's still under treatment there. They are supposed to remove players from the pitch for treatment unless it is obvious that Vasquez with the kick. Robbed there by Van Hips. Well, the final indignity for Salvador, that was. This is Van Hips. Different. Thiessen. Finding Van Hips, who always has made space for his colleagues in this match. Polonis, the substitute. Finding Thiessen in a little too ambitious a present wing there. Throw into Salvador. Well, we're now 2 minutes into extra time. Quintanilla. Flamenco. Polonis. And there goes the final whistle, and the score here in Azteca Stadium is Belgium 3, El Salvador 0. Well, that is a score with which Belgium will be quite satisfied. To have not beaten Salvador would have been to suffer the indignity and also to virtually throw away their chances of qualifying for the semi-finals. After 13 minutes, Van Moor must have reduced Belgium's nerves when he scored from 35 yards with a goal which Magana, the Salvador goalkeeper, will not be well pleased with. It was a well-struck ball, but it was 35 yards out, and it found the back of the net. It wasn't until the 53rd minute that Van Moor put Belgium 2-0 up, and the third from a Lambert penalty. Van Hips and Van Moor have dominated this game in midfield for Belgium. Semmeling has shown thrust on the right, different, I thought, short of thrust at centre forward, bearing in mind the context of the opposition. Different, Johan Different, it has been said, has found it difficult to acclimatise to the heat and the height here in Mexico City, and he looked a man short on the punch, which brought him 6 goals on the way to Mexico. At the back, well, Belgium were pierced once by Aparicio, but a magnificent save by Christian Pio showed why he has got the goalkeeping job in this Belgian side. Overall then, a very satisfactory result for Belgium. For El Salvador, well, to be here was enough. They are the Cinderellas. If they had pulled off the miracle, so much the better. They couldn't pull off the miracle, but they were not disgraced. These are supporters who made the journey from El Salvador to Azteca Stadium today did not see their side disgraced, but they were soundly beaten by Belgium. It's Roger Malone saying goodbye from Azteca Stadium, Mexico City.